What's up everyone, Fear Street Part 2, 1978, just released on Netflix, so let's review it. Real quick, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of Fear Street Part 2, 1978, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review for the movie, so if you haven't seen it, you're free to watch it. Anyways, let's get right into the review. So this movie is obviously a direct sequel to the original in this kind of trilogy thing that Netflix is doing as they're releasing one movie each week. So this is the second one, the middle movie in the trilogy, and this movie directly follows the first one. As we at the beginning we do follow the characters from the first one and the events. It kind of justifies the events that happen at the end of the first movie, kind of helps that make a little more sense. Then we go back in time to 1978, the summer of 1978, and to essentially we're going to learn about this curse that's haunting this town and how they're going to try to stop it and how they're going to fix everything. And that's essentially why we're going back in time. So they do a good job at justifying that. And essentially in this movie we're following a group of summer camp and a group of people in that summer camp as they're getting hunted by a guy with an axe. So it's much more of a traditional slasher movie. And so overall I actually had a lot of fun with this movie. It's a really good follow-up to the original. I kind of alluded to it, but it really advances the story in a satisfying way. And it makes sense why we're getting this story. That was a big concern heading into this one and the next one is, how are they going to make this a trilogy? I think they did a good job at convincing me that they have a plan here and there is something that they're going to do with this fulfilling in this third film. But they just, once again, the main reason that we got this movie was we're learning about how to stop this thing. We're introduced to more characters that we're gonna get more of in the next movie. So I thought that was definitely a strength here in regards to the plot. I like the summer camp setting here. It's summer camp is a ton of fun, and like the whole Friday the 13th influence. I really enjoyed. It's not as strong as the first one. It doesn't the first one felt very much like the 90s. This one didn't feel as much like a more traditional 70s, 80s slasher in a summer camp. It didn't feel entirely like that, though it was definitely similar, and I really enjoyed that setting. And that was just a big positive for this movie. Once again, it's a very nice throwback like the first one, just gonna have this throwback slasher film. And overall, the style, the horror of this movie felt like a slasher film, and I like that as well. The story in this movie and the plot is very simple, but who's complaining? That's what we wanted from this movie. It works really well. The plot, it's not too complex. You're just following the characters as they try to survive, and then towards the end it gets a little crazy with everything that's going on with the kind of the haunted town and everything. We learn more about that stuff, but nonetheless, the plot really worked for me here. And once again, very simple, but it was just fine, and it was just really a fun slasher film. I thought the horror elements in this movie worked really well. Once again, it's just more of a traditional slasher movie. You have a guy with an axe hunting people. You get a lot of good kills in there. The editing wasn't great, and it didn't always show all the kills to the maximum extent of what you may have wanted, but the kills did look good, and they were pretty fun to watch. And there's a lot of unexpected kills. Characters you didn't expect to get killed did get killed, and there was just the action and horror stuff worked really well for me. And I like the guy. He's kind of going around the camp killing people with an axe. That's a lot of fun. It kind of adds this tension to the movie. And that's one of the things that makes slasher movies so great. Much like the first one, I actually like the characters in this. This movie also features quite a bit of character development, very similar to the first one. But I actually enjoyed the character arcs more in this movie. The first one kind of had it centered around, there's a lot of just drama going on in the movie. This one was more the character interactions were reacting more to the situation. I enjoyed that more. It was similar, don't get me wrong. They were very similar with how they treat the characters and the character development. Though I did enjoy that a little more. I probably liked the characters in the first movie a little more just because they did get more fleshed out throughout the entire movie. And I think they're a little more likable. But for the most part in this movie, I think the characters have been really good. I've seen people complaining about the characters in these movies. It's a horror movie. The characters aren't going to be great anyways. But I thought they were just fine in this movie and in the first one. But in this movie, I thought they were just fine. They served their purpose as kind of horror characters in a slasher film. That worked for me quite a bit. And the biggest positive of this movie is it's just a ton of fun. And it's just tons of fun to watch all these people at the summer camp get hunted by a guy with an axe, and all the drama that comes with that, and all the horror and the slasher stuff and the gore and the blood and the killing. And it's just, this movie is an absolute blast if you're into these kind of horror movies, and it delivered for me there. I had a ton of fun with it. It's just, it's fun to laugh. There's lots of moments when you laugh. There's lots of moments, and it's not super scary like a ghost movie or something. It's a slasher, so it's not, it's more fun to watch and more funny and more entertaining, and I really like that about it. It definitely works here. And like I said, I think this movie was very solid, and I probably actually liked it a little bit more than the first one. I have one issue with this movie, and it's kind of a big issue. I thought it just ran too long. The movie's like almost 2 hours long. It's an hour and 50 minutes, I believe. And immediately I was wondering how they're going to fill that up. For a slasher movie, you never see slasher movies go that long. And this movie definitely takes its time. I don't think there was like anything horror in like the first 40 minutes of the movie. And for me, that was just a pretty big issue in here. There is like a 10-minute and 10-minute ending. I kind of don't connect to the main story, but this movie was exhausting for me, just because horror movies, when they're longer, they have to justify that to me, and it wasn't justified here. And so that was really unfortunate, but nonetheless, the movie was quite fun. Just it ran a little too long. But overall, like I said, I did really enjoy this movie. It was a ton of fun, lots of entertaining, a really fun slasher movie. And it was just a really good time, and I'm really excited with what Netflix is doing here in the future of this concept. Obviously, to get Fear Street 1666 next week, that's going to look really fun. That sounds really fun as well. So I'm excited to see what they do there and how they end the whole kind of trilogy arc. That's really exciting as well. But like I said, overall, Fear Street Part 2, 1978 was a lot of fun, a nice throwback slasher to these summer camp slasher movies. It's a lot of fun, it's super entertaining, the characters are solid, the horror is great. So I'm going to give it a 76% and 3 out of 5 stars, pretty much about the same score as the first one. Like I said, they're pretty much neck and neck for me. Anyways, that's going to do it for my review of Fear Street Part 2, 1978. If you liked the video and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And as always, if you stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.